Namaste. Welcome to New Hinduism. Everything in this world is changing and everything has to be upgraded in a particular time. Naturally, it will get upgraded. But if you are thinking before time, if you are running before time, then you should start thinking of upgrading things. You should start thinking of upgrading your life, your education, your political thoughts, philosophy, way of living, and all that. If you refuse to change, you will become outdated. Many religions became outdated because they refused for change. They refused to think for a change. That's why I call it New Hinduism. I think it is applicable in every religion, every political party, every philosophy, every nation, literature, in art, in films, and all that. If films were shot in the same way that the old directors and filmmakers did, that would have become a catastrophe. New things are coming. So, it is high time that one starts thinking of his religious approach, an upgraded version of his religious approach. That's why these talks on New Hinduism are relevant. Well, what is the difference between spirituality and religion? Are all people who follow religions spiritual? No. Are all spiritualists religious? Again, no. We believe that Hinduism came from the rishis. We know that. The great saints meditated for years and years and probed into the depth of their minds and came out with truth. That's Hinduism. But in many religions, there will be one center. For example, Jesus Christ is the center of Christianity. Prophet Muhammad is the center of Islam. Guru Nanak is the center of Sikhism. Jaina Maharshi is the center of Jaina religion. Confucius is the center of Confucianism. Tao is the center of Taoism. Like that. But Hinduism is a circle without a particular center. That's why many people think that Hinduism is not a religion. People want geometrical figures to understand things. And Hinduism comes from transgeometry. Transgeometry means a geometrical pattern in the mind which is above the usual thinking. When we follow a geometric pattern like the squares and rectangles and hexagons and spheres and like that, cylinders and all that, then you can think only in a particular way. But if you cross the geometrical pattern, then you transcend, go up, and you realize another dimension and start thinking of things in new dimension. That's what I call transgeometric. So just think of yourself. We can understand it better if you think personally on that. Don't you have certain beliefs in life? Yes, sure. I have certain beliefs in life. Some rules, a type of laws, a constitution. And I believe that that's the best way of living. Some people believe that making money is the most important thing in the world. But many millionaires and billionaires have revealed that making money is not something that will give you happiness after time. It's going to be unhappy. You're going to be unhappy if you become richer and richer. The great millionaires like Bill Gates, they have proclaimed it many times. making money is a habit. And you go on doing that, and that gives you pleasure. But after some time, you realize the fact that you don't spend it actually. You don't spend it the way it should have spent. That's why Mahatma Gandhi's wordings become very, very important. He said that, "O rich people, you are the trustees of God. God has given you money so that you can help other people who are not that lucky as you. It is your duty to spend that money for them." But I think very few people do it. Many think in a geometric pattern. This is the money I made. I worked hard and made this money. Why should I give it to another person? Of course, I can understand. I need that money for my wife, my children, and all that. My father, my brother. That's a geometric pattern. You spend your money only for them. What about millions of people starving in this world? Aren't you responsible for them also? Then your mind will suggest, because you think in a geometric pattern, that no, that's not my concern. That's where you degrade as an animal. Animals also think of their family. But human being is not an animal. Swamy Vivekananda said, until even a dog gets his food properly, I won't rest. Even a dog in this world gets enough to eat, I'm not going to rest. And Mahatma Gandhi said, my mission is to wipe out the last tear of the poorest person in this world. Until that, I am going to work and work and work for them. Miles to go before I sleep. And they worked up to the last moment for that. They didn't spend anything for them. They spent their whole life for other people. And such people are there in the books of history that we learn. The rich men, when they die, they may get a big funeral. The ministers and all these people will come. And there will be a band set and all that. But after a few days, they become a photograph on the wall. And after some time, this photograph is thrown into the dust. Who needs them? They just had money. But a spiritualist believes his understanding, his way of living, his philosophical content is very different. He believes that it is his duty to understand the suffering of other people. He goes to that extent in which he believes that thy necessity is greater than mine. You need water, I also need water. Then I give my cup of water to you, because the thinking is thy necessity is greater than mine. That is spirituality. So we all have some geometric pattern. Just think of your pattern. Are you a person who is living for yourself only? Or you are living for your family, you may say. That's what Ratnagaran used to do. Ratnagaran was a thief. He used to kill people, steal things from people. For what? Then the Saptarshis asked him the question, for whom do you steal all these things? From whom do you kill people? Then he said, that's for my family. I have got an old mother, an old father, and I have got a wife and children. I want money to feed them. So I am doing this. The same explanation you are giving. I am keeping all these things for my family. And that family is going to throw out your photograph one day. After you die, they will have only negative things in mind. They will have only negative things to say. And when you are ordering for a food for 3,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees in Zomato or somewhere, something like that, and eating that food, there are people around you who are dreaming of a meal. That's a sin. You are committing a sin. That's what Krishna said in Gita. If you cook food for yourself only, then that's a big sin. And Prophet Muhammad said, if you are having food, enough food, and your neighbor is not like that, he is in deep penury and he has no food, then what you are committing is a crime, Prophet said. And Jesus said, If a person comes and asks you, sir, please give a sweater for me because it's very cold, or say, just give me a bed sheet, I'm shivering, then not only that bed sheet, you give the coat also. That's what Christ said. Helping another person is a very important thing. And when you start helping other persons without discrimination, with discrimination people help other people. I'm a Hindu, so I have to help Hindus. I'm a Christian, so I have to help Christians. And a Muslim, I have to give zakat. All these things you do. Then that's religious. But when you start helping other people without caring a fig about his religion, his political party, his nature, his the color, his language, then you are a spiritualist person. The more religious you become, the more fanatic you become. The more materialistic you become, you are moving more, you are going away from spiritual path. You move away from spiritual path when you have a lot of materialistic dreams. You may justify it as, that's for my family. That's exactly what Ratnagaran said. And Ratnagaran would have ended as a 0 if he hadn't become a Vatmiki through his deep meditation. So, spirituality is not fanaticism. Spirituality is not egocentrism. It is above all these things in which you transcend from that geometric pattern of life which your father and mother had taught you, or you have learned from this world. If you don't have money, then you are like a dead body. That's what they say in Malayalam. Panam illengil pinam. That means if you don't have money, you are a dead body. All these things you hear, and from your needs also, you are poor and you need a lot of money, and people don't help you. See, all these things create a pattern in life. That's a geometric pattern, and you live in that, and you believe that you are leading a wonderful life. But it is not so. Unless you transcend to the trans-geometric way of living, you can't become a spiritualist and you can't upgrade yourself. So, the moment you start thinking of upgrading yourself, beware of this geometric pattern that you follow. Namaste.